Hello guys, my name is Kitty and this is Kitty Crochet. So humbly welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please kindly subscribe before we go into today's tutorial. You can also go on Instagram and follow me at Kitty Crochets. Well, in today's tutorial, we are going to look at how to make a crochet shell booty short. And yes, so let's start right away. We are going to need some yarn and I'm going to use Seagull. It is 100% acrylic. I'm going to use 2 balls at once so as to have 2 strands, but in case you're using one ball, like a big ball, you can use 1 strand is always enough. I'm going to need a measuring tape like to help me with my measurements, and for my hook I'm going to use my 3.5mm hook, and I'm also going to need a pair of scissors to help me cut off that excess yarn. We are going to start by making the measurements of the hips for the person you're making for, and I am going to make for a person with hips of 33 inches. I've already measured them, so we are now going to make a chain that can really stretch up to 33 inches. For the chain, we are going to start by making a slip knot, and I'm going to bring my yarn around my little finger like this and then pull it out. I'm going to get a whirl like this and then bring my hook right in the middle and pull this behind yarn. So we already have a slip knot, and now we are going to make a chain. So for a chain, in case you don't know how a chain is made, you are going to yarn over and pull through the loop you have on the hook. This is what they call the loop. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through the loop I have on the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So this is how a chain is made, and I'm going to do this up to when I have something that can really stretch up to 33 inches. I'm done with my chain and I'm going to add these 2 parts together. So I'm going to come in this very first chain here and I slip stitch. I bring my hook in the first chain, I yarn over and pull through both loops that I have on the hook. So I'm going to chain 1, and we are now going to start by making the waistband, and our waistband is going to be made of mesh stitch. So I'm going to place a double crochet in this very first stitch, this one, I yarn over, pull through. I remain with 3 loops on the hook, I yarn over, pull through the first 2 and yarn over, pull through the last 2. So after that I am going to chain 2. Remember we are making a mesh. I'm going to chain 2, I yarn over, I skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and in the third one I place there a double crochet, I yarn over, pull through. I get 3 loops on the hook, I yarn over, pull through the first 2 and yarn over, pull through the next 2. I again chain 2, 1, 2, I yarn over, I count 2 chains, 1, 2, and in the third one I place there a double crochet, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. I again chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, I count 2 stitches, 1, 2, I come in the third one, I place there a double crochet. So well, this is going to be the pattern. You place a double crochet, chain 2 and skip 2 chains down here. In the third one you place there a double crochet, you again chain 2 and skip 2 chains down. In the third one you place there a double crochet. So let me do this and come back when I'm at the end of this line. Well, I'm at the end of my first line and I'm done chaining 2. So we are now going to slip stitch on top of this on the very first double crochet right here and slip stitch here and you slip stitch. After that you are going to chain 1, and after chaining 1 you are going to turn your work, and after turning your work in this very first double crochet we are again going to place there a double crochet, which is going to be our first double crochet. So, and after that we are going now to do the same thing. You chain 2 and then you are now going, instead of like counting like to place the double crochet in the third stitch, we are now going to be placing double crochets on top of the first double crochets. So you chain 2 you come on top of this next one, you place there a double crochet. Sorry, you place there a double crochet, you again chain 2, and on top of this next one you place there a double crochet. So this is going to be our waistband, and I'm going to do this for 4 lines, and I'm going to come back when I'm done with my 4 lines. I'm at the end of my 4th line, and I'm going to come on top of this very first double crochet and I slip stitch. After slip stitching, I am going to chain 1 and then turn my work. I am going to place a double crochet in this very first stitch, this one. You place there a double crochet, and I come into the second stitch, this one. I also place there a double crochet. So after that, I am going to chain 1. I have placed 2 double crochets and have chained 1, so I'm going to yarn over and skip this middle double crochet and come to this second one, and I place there a double crochet. I am again going to place there a second double crochet. After the 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I again place 2 double crochets in the very same stitch. This is 1 and this is the second one. After placing there a double crochet, I am again going to place a double crochet in this second stitch, this one, and after those 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 1, and after chaining 1, I am going to skip the next double crochet, and on top of this double crochet, it's where I'm going to place my next double crochet. This is 1. I'm going to place there 2 double crochets. These are 2. After placing the 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 1 and again place 2 more double crochets in that very same stitch, and this is what we call a shell. Hope you can see. We started with 2 double crochets. After the 2 double crochets, we chained 1. After chaining 1, you skipped this next double crochet and went to the next one. We placed there a shell, meaning we placed there 2 double crochets, chained 2 double crochets. After that, we chained 1, we skipped the next double crochet, we came into the next one, we placed a double crochet on top of it, and in the next stitch we also placed there a double crochet. After that, we chained 1 and we skipped the next double crochet. We came to the next one, we placed there 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So I'm going to chain 1, I skip the next double crochet, I come to the next one, I place there a double crochet and also place in the next stitch a double crochet. And after that, I'm going to chain 1 again and skip the next double crochet, come to the next one, I place there 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So these are the 2 double crochets, I chain 2 and then I still place in the very same stitch, I place there 2 more double crochets. And after that, I'm going to chain 1. Well, so this is going to be the pattern, and I'm going to do this and come back when I'm at the end of this line. Well, I unfortunately have imbalancing stitches, so I had to skip one here and go to the next one, but what I have is that I have like 2 double crochets this side and 2 double crochets this side, so I just can't add, like a shell is needed right here in the middle. So instead of skipping the 1 stitch, you only do this like when you reach the end and you kind of have imbalancing stitches. I'm going to instead place my shell here. I'm going to come, place 2 double crochets, I chain 2 and again place there 2 double crochets in the very same stitch to make a shell. So after that, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to come on top of this very first double crochet, this one, and I slip stitch. I yarn over, pull through, and also pull through the loop I have on the hook. After slip stitching, I'm also going to slip stitch in the next double crochet. So after that, I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. After turning my work, I'm going to place a double crochet in this very first one. In this very first one, I place there a double crochet. Pull through and also place a double crochet in the on top of the second double crochet. So after that, I'm going to chain 1, and so now we are going to be placing a shell where there is a shell and double crochets where the double crochets are. So I'm going to come right here in the middle on top of the shell. I place there 2 double crochets. After that 2 double crochets, I'm going to chain 1 and again place there 2 more double crochets in that very same space. After that, I'm going to chain 1 and come on top of the first double crochet. I place there a double crochet, and on top of the second double crochet, I place there a double crochet. After that, I am going to chain 1 again. After chaining 1, I am going to come on top of the next shell. I place my shell there. Remember, 2 half double crochets and chain 2, and again 2 half double crochets in the same space makes a shell. So I place 2 more double crochets, 2 more double crochets, and after that I am going to chain 1 and come on top of the first double crochet. I place there a double crochet, and on top of the next one I also place there a double crochet. I also place there a double crochet. I again chain 1 and come on top of the next one. I place there a double crochet, 1, and then the second one, and after that I chain 2. I'm making a shell and again place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. 2, this is the second one. After that I chain 1. Well, you are going to repeat what you've been doing in these 2 lines, placing a shell stitch on top of a shell and double crochets on top of double crochets for 8 inches. And for the 8 inches, you measure them from this first line. Remember, these first 4 lines were our waistband, so you measure the 8 inches from this first line, and you are going to make something that can equate to 8 inches before attaching the leg holes. So I'm going to do this until when I have 8 inches. Well, these are my 8 inches, and for the 8 inches you measure starting from the first line of our shell up to where you've ended from to make it 8 inches. And right now we are now going to make a chain that is going to separate our leg holes. So at the end of our last line, I'm going to come and slip stitch on top of this very first double crochet right here. I'm going to come and slip stitch and also slip stitch in the second one. Remember, we've been doing like this, like slip stitch in the first one and also the second one. So after that I'm going to chain 1. So we are going to chain 10, and for a small and medium person I always chain 10, but for a big person, like very big, I chain 15. So I'm going to chain 10, and this is already 1, so this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we are going to attach our chain to the other part. For my short, I have a total of 9 shells, so I have to make sure that I have 4 shells this side and 4 shells this side, and in the 9th shell it's where I'm going to attach the chain from. So I'm going to come and, so let me first count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the extra shell. So I'm going to come here and slip stitch. It's where I'm going to attach my chain from. You have to make sure that you always have like the same size. In case you have 5 shells this side, they have to be 5 shells. In case there are 7 this side, they have to be 7 this side. So mine are 4 4. This side I have 4 shells, and also this side I have 4 shells. So after chaining one, we are going to come and start like with our pattern. So this was a shell, like where we've joined the chain from. It was a shell, so we are again going to place a shell there. I'm going to make 2 half double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 half double crochets. So these are 2. I chain 2 and again place there 2 more half double crochets, 2 half double crochets, and after that I am going to chain 1. After chaining 1, I am going to just repeat the same process of placing half double crochets on top of the half double crochets and a shell on top of a shell. So let me do this, and I'm going to come back when I have reached the chain here. Well, I've reached the other side of the chain. So on this side, these were 2 double crochets, and so I'm going to place 2 double crochets on top of these double crochets, just like this. So after that, I am going to chain 1. After chaining 1, I am going to count 1, 2, and in this third one, I am going to place there our shell. So I'm going to make 2 double crochets. That is 1. This is the second one. After that, I'm going to chain 2, and I again place 2 double crochets in the very same chain. That's 1, and these are 2. So after that, I am going to chain 1 and again count 1, 2, 3, and in this third one, I'm going to place there a double crochet, and also place a double crochet in the very next one. I hope you can see. So this is 1, 2, and in this third one, it's where our shell is. So after that, I'm going to chain 1 and come slip stitch on top of this very first double crochet that we made. I am going to slip stitch again up to when I reach the middle of this shell stitch. I come slip stitching and also slip stitch right here in the middle. After that, I'm going to chain 1, and after chaining 1, I am going to turn my work. After turning my work, I am going to place a shell on top of this shell. Remember, we place shells on top of shells and double crochets on top of double crochets. So this is it. This is the second double crochet. This, and after that, I chain 1. I place a double crochet on top of the double crochet. Well, if you like this video, kindly give it a thumbs up. I come here and also place a shell on top of a shell. Give it a thumbs up, and please don't leave here without subscribing to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kitty Crochets. I'll be really humbled. So I'm placing my double crochet on top of a double crochet, and yes, I'm going to do this. This is what we've been doing, and I'm going to come back when I'm right here at the end. At the end of my second line, I'm going to come on top of this very first double crochet that we made, and I make a slip stitch. So I slip stitch, and after slip stitching, remember you have to again slip stitch up to when you reach the middle of the chain of the shell, and after that you chain one. After chaining one, you turn over your work. You again repeat the same process of placing a shell on top of a shell, 2 double crochets, and then chain 2 and 2 double crochets again. Yeah, a shell on top of a shell and double crochets on top of double crochets. So I'm going to do this for 6 lines. This is our third line. I'm going to do this for 6 lines, and I'm going to come back at the start of another leg hole. Well, I'm done with my first leg hole, and I'm now going to do the second one. So I'm going to bring my yarn and attach it here where we joined the chain to the downer part from. So I'm going to chain 1, and yes, I've attached my yarn. So where we have on the chain, where we have a shell this side, we are also going to make a shell this side, and where we have double crochets this side, we are also going to make double crochets this side. So here at the start we had double crochets, so that means I'm going to place double crochets at the beginning of this side as well. You do the same thing. In case you have a shell starting this side, you make sure that a shell also starts this side. Since I have double crochets starting this side, I have to make sure that I have double crochets starting on this other side as well. So I start with the double crochets, I chain 1 and come here. So this is a shell, and I'm also going to make a shell on this other side. You do the same thing that you did with the other leg hole. So I'm placing a shell on this other side. Yes. After that, I'm going to chain 1. I hope it's disturbing me. After chaining 1, I am going to come on top of this first half, on top of the first double crochet I place there a double crochet. Also come on top of the second one, I place there a double crochet, I chain 1, and then we had a shell here, like we started with a shell this side, and so I'm going to also put a shell this side. So those are 2, I chain 2 and then place 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. After that, I'm going to chain 1 and then repeat the same process of placing double crochets on top of double crochets and shells on top of the shells. So this right here is my second double crochet. So I'm going to repeat the same process of placing double crochets on top of double crochets and shells on top of shells, and I'm going to come back when I'm done with also doing this leg hole as well. Well, I'm done with both my leg holes. I've made 6 lines, and yes, this is it. This is our shell booty short. It looks small, but if at all you use the right measurements, it will fit you or the person you're making it for. So right now we are going to make a chain for our waistband, and I'm going to start by making a slip knot. Rotate my yarn around the finger, get a hole, and bring my hook right in the middle here, and pull this behind yarn. So you yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to make a chain that can fit around my waist. So this is my chain, and I'm now going to show you how you can put it in the waistband. You are going to come in this very first line at the top. We are going to place it in and out, like in, out, in, out, just like this. And yes, I'm going to do this up to when I reach the other end. Finally, this is how our crochet shell booty short looks like. Hope you've loved it. Hope you've loved the process of making it. Thank you very much for watching, and kindly don't leave here without subscribing. You can also go and follow me on Instagram at Kitty Crochets. Thank you very much.